And you only have one child? Okay, if we were to break down
that he knows of. Let's just go ahead and
what
put
was that? How would you know?
Well, he knocked me up and left for a year. So, I mean, there might be some other women out there.
Wait a minute, in fairness.
That may not be able to count how many partners they've been with, but I know it was his.
All right, fellas, buckle up. This one's a doozy. Dustin's been ghost mode on his kids for nearly a year, but now he's suddenly ready to re-enter their lives. The problem? He can't afford child support, so he's offering to cover daycare instead. Seems like a fair trade, right? Not according to Sarah. She wants child support on top of that, because, let's be real, the system rarely misses a chance to side with the mother. So, will the court see reason, or is Dustin about to take another L?
Mrs. Cheney.
Mrs.
Mrs. Cheney.
Remarried.
You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
So, we were friends. We went out for drinks after a promotion, and everybody else left. It left us two. Had a little too much to drink. Anyway, I ended up pregnant. He's completely out of the picture. Doesn't answer text calls, whatever. All of a sudden, he comes to me and says he wants to be a part of our kid's life. And I said, okay, well, you're going to have to give me child support. I'm not just going to let you all of a sudden be dad, you know. And
how old is the child?
He's 18 months.
Okay.
18 months, yep.
Okay, continue.
Oh, I'm sorry. So he's like, well, I can't pay child support, but I'll pay the daycare bill. Daycare is $8.55 a month. Okay. He claims he only makes $24,000 a year. That adds up to almost half his income, if that's what he actually said. I mean, this is not the way a guy who lives a life of $24,000. I mean, that suit probably costs like, I don't know, half that or something.
He has a nice suit.
I shop clearance.
Okay.
I do pretty well on sales.
He shops on clearance.
Okay. I've never seen that suit at JCPenney, but all right.
Okay. So $855 a month in daycare. You say you make $24,000 a year.
$24,000 a year, that is correct.
And I do have his tax returns that he produced showing $24,000 a year, but you're self-employed?
That is correct.
So you did your own tax return?
I do, yes.
So is it accurate, or did you manipulate it?
If you're questioning if I'm being honest in my tax returns,
yes.
I am being honest in my tax returns, Your Honor.
Okay. And I can only go based off of what he produces. Living wise, do you live with someone?
I'm in an apartment sharing situation right now with the money I make every month, and with basically close to half of my salary going to pay for daycare for our child. I've got to share. I can't afford my own place on my own.
Okay. And living expenses, they're shared between your roommates?
Pretty much we kind of split the groceries, things like that. Utilities get split evenly.
Okay. Well, then that kind of makes sense. So you're asking.
Interview 2. So, here's the setup. Sarah says she and Dustin went out for drinks one night, things happened, and boom, she's pregnant. But instead of stepping up, Dustin pulls a disappearing act for an entire year. Now, out of nowhere, he wants back in his kids' lives. Here's the twist. Dustin originally agreed to cover daycare, which runs a hefty $8.50 a month. But now he's claiming he only makes $20,000 a year and just can't afford it. That's nearly half his salary gone, and the guy isn't even living on his own. He's splitting rent just to stay afloat. Now, he's asking for a reduction. But Sarah? Oh no, that's not enough. She wants child support and for him to keep paying daycare. So, will the court cut Dustin some slack, or is he about to get squeezed for every last dollar? Let's dive in.
Point is that it seems kind of sketchy that he can afford almost $900 a month in daycare, but won't pay child support. I feel like there's something going on with the money situation. There's got to be a reason why he's doing things the way he does.
So you want him to pay $855 in daycare and child support?
I mean, he wants to be a part of his life.
That wasn't my question.
Okay.
Do you want him to pay $855 in daycare as well as pay child support on top of that?
I want us to be able to talk and discuss and find a number that works for both of us, and that I think is fair.
Okay.
Just because I make more money than him doesn't mean I should be covering all of the child's expenses. $8.55 is daycare.
I definitely agree with that. I agree with that. So what is the middle ground that you're looking for? Because legally he cannot pay daycare and child support. I mean, you can't have it both ways. So what would be a middle ground for you?
I guess we'd have to kind of discuss what would be child support versus daycare, and how the parental responsibilities would change. Would he get them on weekends? Would he get them on holidays? Things like that. So,
Well,
because he doesn't live real close either, you know.
Well, we're here today, so let's discuss it. Like I said, he cannot pay daycare on top of child support. It just can't happen. So if you were to give him a number that's in between the 24,000 that, I mean, because when you break that down based on child support for one child, it's not a lot of money. So if you were, let's say it's about $300 in child support. If you add that to $855, you're talking about child support in excess of $1,000. Are you asking that he pay $1,000 in child support?
I guess not exactly. I don't.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out why you're here and what you're asking me to do.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out what to do with the situation with him. I don't have a law degree. I don't have a lawyer. I don't know exactly how these things work.
Okay. And I'm helping you guys as much as I can.
Yeah, so I didn't know that you couldn't do daycare and child support. And I don't know I've never had child support before. I have no idea. I don't know, what you can do, what you can't do, what happens with visitation and stuff like that. He was absent the entire first year, completely absent. So I paid 100% of everything. He was in the hospital after he was born. I took care of those bills.
And you didn't give her any money?
Not at that point, Your Honor, no.
What was the reason for that?
I was effectively in the same situation I am now. Again, being self-employed, my income has not gone up. There was a little bit of a disconnect between the two of us. I probably, looking back, should have stepped in sooner, and that's all I'm trying to do now.
Okay.
I want to have a relationship with our son. The amount I'm paying on a monthly basis is already, again, 45% or so.
It's a lot.
Of my income. I don't know the percentages, etc., what I'm required to do. I feel I'm already stepping up, and by paying the full daycare, as far as I know, and I've talked to some friends, I'm paying more than I actually have to.
He actually is. Because if we were to break down, based on what it is that he makes, if we were to break down, and you only have one child?
Yeah.
Okay, if we were to break down
that he knows of. Let's just go ahead and
What
put
was
that.
that? How would you know?
Well, he knocked me up and left for a year. So, there might be some other women out there.
Wait a minute. In fairness,
that may not be able to count how many partners they've been with, but I know it was his kid.
In fairness, he wasn't alone in knocking you up.
I get that. And I took 100% responsibility for that child for a full 12 months. Okay.
Let's not blame it all on him. You have one child, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let's stick to what is in front of us. We're not worried about any other children that may be out there. So based on the financial documents that he provided at 20%, his child support should only be about $300.
All right, so Sarah's looking real suspicious now, claiming it's shady that Dustin can afford daycare but somehow can't pay child support. And to be fair, she's got a point. Just because she makes more money doesn't mean she should cover everything. Honestly, I kind of see where she's coming from on that. But here's where it gets wild. Judge V straight up tells her that what she's asking for isn't even possible because, well, she's not making any sense. Sarah keeps insisting that Dustin hasn't given her a dime, completely ignoring the fact that he's been dropping half his salary to make sure his kid is taken care of. Then, Judge Vonda asks if this is Dustin's only child, and Sarah jumps in with a snarky that he knows of, just to make him look even worse. She even throws out a wild claim that since he left her for a year, he's probably done the same to other women. Zero proof, just straight up trying to paint him as some kind of serial deadbeat.
It's paid through you?
Yes.
How much do you pay?
It's like 130 or something a month. It comes right out of my check, so I'm not sure the exact amount of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm looking
130,
at
133, something like that.
I'm looking at what you also turned in. It looks like it's about $113.
13, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what we're going to do to make it fair, because he is paying about 3 times the amount that his child support should be.
Yeah, well, his bar bills are about the price of that too, so.
Well, so are yours. But as I was saying, his child support is going to be set at what the daycare amount is. That's the fairest way to do it. At least we know that by you paying daycare, the child's daycare expense is covered each month. So that's something you do not have to worry about. And you will have to reimburse her for the health insurance that she has on the child. So when you add the $855 plus the $113, it comes out to $968 a month in child support. So $968 would be all that he pays. And out of that, that would include whatever, if you change daycares, let me just make sure I'm very clear on this. If you change daycares and the amount goes up to $1,000, all he's responsible for is the $855 for the daycare. That's it. That's all you're responsible for. But the health insurance, if you have health insurance available through your job, you can enroll the child under health insurance and remove that $113 additional charge, and you'll be only responsible for $855.
To make sure I understand, so I'm already paying $855 a month as compared to the $349 that you calculated I should be responsible for.
Well,
So now we're saying, well, instead of basing it off of $349, potentially lowering it, or at least the two of us coming to some sort of agreement and saying, I'm already paying 45% of my salary. I've got to pay now $968 a month, which is, again, more than double what I'm supposed to be paying in child support.
You've been paying, although it's 3 times the amount, you've been comfortably paying this. This isn't something that she necessarily, well, when I say comfortably, I don't know your financial situation, but you've been paying it for some time.
With roommates and
right.
TV
and
dinners.
I understand, but under Texas law, we can deviate from what the guideline support should be if we find good reason to do it. And daycare expenses, they are considered one of those reasons. Now, if you two, while you're here, you want to agree to a lesser amount, if you want to meet in the middle and say, let's say you decide to do $700, let's say you decide to say $750, that's what you can do. But based on what you all have been telling me, you've been paying daycare, it's $855. That would be in the best interest of the child to at least make sure that the daycare expense is covered.
Understood.
So, like I said, if you guys decide to come in with something different, you can come back and modify that, and I'd be happy to enter in the number that you all come up with. Is there anything further today?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything further?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, there's nothing.
All right, let's wrap this up. Sarah's covering the kids' health insurance, but Judge Vonda points out that Dustin has already been paying 3 times more than what he technically should. Still, the judge orders him to reimburse Sarah for the insurance and continue paying for both daycare and health coverage. At this point, Dustin finally speaks up, asking why he's still on the hook for so much. And Judge Vonda lays it out plain and simple, since he's already been paying $850 for daycare, he has to keep paying. Why? Because in Texas, daycare counts as a valid reason for child support. It's all about what's in the best interest of the child. So yeah, Dustin tried to step up, and now he's locked into